Hi, everybody. Well, I was just out having a really good day, Saturday with my family. I'm sure you were out having a good time and doing what you do on the weekend. And I heard about yet another shooting at yet another place of worship at a synagogue in Poway near San Diego in Southern California, where I live, or near where I live. There are just so many levels to this, and I'm getting really tired of talking about it, and I'm sure you are too. These are human beings in a place of prayer on their last day of Passover, which is one of the holiest days of the Jewish year. And a 19-year-old kid, the age of my son, shot people. It's just so tragic. The depth of what people can do to one another. In mosques, in churches, in synagogues, in schools, in places of work, in movie theaters. It's just horrible. But what I want to be on here to say is this. As a Christian, which is what I am and many of you listening might be, we are influencers. We are leaders. I've had so many people say to me, well, what can I do to change things? Oh my gosh, you can do so much. This 19-year-old person was influenced. I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know what he was influenced by, but nobody is born picking up a gun and going into a synagogue and shooting people. People are taught, people are led to hate, to ostracize, to think that some people or some religions or some nationalities or ethnicities or whatever labels you want to call it, that some are better than others and some are worse than others. Nobody does anything without being influenced. Everybody is an influencer. You know people. You have neighbors. You have coworkers. You have friends. You have families. And you can be one more influence in this world. Please don't say, well, what can I do? I can't stop this. Yes, we all can. We all can stop this. You might have just a couple of people you talk to. Put in a good word for fellow human beings. Here's how I like to think about it. As a Christian, our God came into this world in a specific form. Our God could have chosen to not come into this world. But choosing to come into this world as a human being, God came into this world as someone who is poor, someone who was oppressed, someone who was eventually betrayed, very vulnerable, made to be an outcast, wounded, and killed. Jesus showed throughout his whole life in his actions that he sided with the poor, the broken, the suffering. In story after story, in parable after parable, he sided with those who were suffering. He did not side with people of power. Doesn't mean he didn't love them. He did. He just sided with those who didn't have power. So he also lived the life of one with very little power. Power in the traditional sense, in the worldly sense. Of course, he was God and he had divine power. But he gave all that divine power up to live a rather powerless life. So Christianity has had a history where sometimes it's done wonderful things, sometimes it's done horrible things. I think any of us that can just crack open a history book can figure that out. But when we look back at not what Christians have done or failed to do, the good, the bad, the ugly, but when we look back at Jesus himself, Jesus shows that Christianity is a tradition, it's a philosophy, it's a lifestyle of aligning oneself with God and siding with those who are vulnerable, outcast, and broken. It's pretty clear. Not to stay in our comfortable positions of power, untouched by the world, clearly not to hurt other people, but also not even to just be apathetic about other people, but rather to love even the stranger, even the enemy, even those we don't understand. So in your life, as you are an influencer, as you're talking to your neighbors and your friends and your coworkers and your kids, can you please remind them, if you are a Christian, that we're not called to be on Team Christian, just there for our own kind, so to speak. We are called to be on the side of the suffering. And if that means Jewish people, Muslim people, any other religion, any other lifestyle, any other skin color, anything under the sun, whoever is at the moment suffering and vulnerable, we are there to protect them. We are there to defend them. We are there to speak for them, not against them. Doesn't mean we have to like what everybody does, but it means that these are children of God and we are on their side to care for them. I really wish that I could go back and talk to this 19-year-old young man like I talked to my 19-year-old son. I really wish that he was influenced in a positive way. I wish that those who attacked the church in Sri Lanka during the Christian Easter service, I really wish that those who attacked the mosques in Christchurch, I wish they were influenced to see all people as equal and as children of God and people that are on the same team as they are. So now I join you and my fellow lovers of peace to pray for goodwill and also to influence for it. I hope you do too. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye-bye.